In this video, we're going to look at solving equations that have decimals in them. Now, decimals are really just fractions with specific denominators of 10, 100, 1,000, and so on. Remember that if you have 0.6, that is 6/10. And if you multiply that by 10, it will cause the decimal to move one place to the right and you'll get 6. If you have 0.57, that's 57 hundredths. And if you multiply that by 100, it will move the decimal 2 places and you'll get 57. In other words, if you multiply by the right power of 10, you'll end up making a whole number or an integer out of your decimal. So I'm going to use that strategy to solve some equations with decimals. Get myself a little bit of workspace. All right, I have 0.50x plus 0.15 times 70 is equal to 24.5. Now, in this problem, I have hundredths, 50 hundredths, 15 hundredths, and 5 tenths. Well, if I had tenths and hundredths, the common denominator would be hundredths. I'm not going to show this on every problem, but what I will do is multiply by that LCD, which is 100. The beauty to multiplying by a power of 10 is that all it does is change the position of the decimal point. So it moves this one 2 to the right. It moves this one 2 to the right. I am not going to multiply it additionally times the 70 because when I multiply this times this, it will have been multiplied by the 100. And then I multiply this one by 100, I'm going to need to add a 0. So if I rewrite what I've got 50x plus 15 times 70 is equal to 2,450. Now I don't have any decimals anymore. And I really did the same thing I did with fractions, except picking the LCD of 100 made it very easy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and multiply these. I've got my calculator off to the side. And that gives me 50x plus 1, well, there I go again, 1050 is equal to 2450. All right, I don't have variables on both sides. It's over here, so I'm going to subtract the 1050. And I have 50x, that's gone, is equal to 1400. Divide by 50. And that gives me that x is 28. It's a little easier if you get rid of the decimal fractions. You could do the problem with the decimals in it, but in this lesson I'm trying to show you what to do if you want to get rid of those decimals. Oops. All right, let me get a little bit more workspace. All right, I have 0.12 times y minus 8 plus 0.02y is equal to 0.06y minus 1.5. Well, I have hundredths. Don't worry about this. Hundredths, tenths. Very similar. I'm going to move the decimal 2 places in all of the terms. Oops. And that is because I'm multiplying by the LCD, which is 100. So I multiply this by 100. It'll carry inside in a minute. This by 100. This by 100. this by 100, and I will have to add a 0. So I have 12 times y minus 8 plus, I don't need to write 0, 2, just write 2y is equal to 6y minus 150. Let's simplify over here on the left-hand side. I've got 12 times y is 12y minus 12 times 8 is 96 plus 2y is equal to 6y minus 150. Combining like terms over here, I have 14y. Well, I just keep touching things, I'm sorry. 14y minus 96 is equal to 6y minus 150. I have y's on both sides. Subtract 6y, and I have 8y minus 96 is equal to negative 150. Add 96. All right. That gives me negative 54. And so 8y is equal to negative 54 divided by 8. And 8 doesn't go into 54 evenly. If I divide them both by 2, that gives me negative 27 over 4. And that should be my answer. If it turns out that you see video mistakes in any of these, I hope you'll report those to your teacher so we can get them fixed. All right, the last one, I have 2.4x plus 1 is equal to 10.6. I have tenths, I don't have a decimal, and I have tenths. The common denominator is 10, so I'm going to move this decimal one place, that was multiplying by 10, move the implied decimal one place, adding a 0, and move that decimal one place. You have to move them all the same number of places. So I have 24x plus 10 is equal to 106. I thought this was the last problem and I just saw another one. Subtract 10 from both sides. I have 24x is equal to 96. And it is divisible by 24, so when I divide 24 into it, I get x is 4. All right, sorry. Now the last one. I have 0.8x minus 2.9 is equal to 2.4x plus 1.6. Okay, tenths, 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 tenths. Okay, it's unanimous. We'll say multiply by 10, by 10, by 10, by 10. Changes the equation to 8x minus 29 is equal to 24x plus 16. And remember, the reason I get to do that is because as long as what you do to the left, you do to the right, you're not changing the equation. All right, I have variables on both sides. I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. I have negative 29 is equal to, that's going to give me 16x plus 16. Subtract 16 to get that variable term by itself. So I have 16x. I have to add those two, which gives me negative 45. Divide both sides by 16. And I don't believe that negative 45 and 16 have a common factor. And so it might seem a little strange, but, well, I forgot. This is a decimal problem. What does it say? Type an integer or a simplified fraction. It doesn't want a decimal answer, which kind of surprised me, but I'm going to be choosing A, and I have negative 45 over 16. Okay, hope that helps working on equations with decimals.